Welcome, everyone, to Real Estate on the Up, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the real estate world in Orlando. I'm your host, Kyle Madorin, and on this show, we're all about pulling back the curtain with the unfiltered truth about real estate. We're not just here to sell houses. We're here to provide concierge-style service because everyone loves being treated like a VIP. This podcast is your go-to resource for transparency, integrity, and the knowledge you need to make smarter real estate decisions. Whether you're a seasoned investor or a first-time homebuyer, we've got you covered. So buckle up and get ready to move up in the world of real estate. It's time for Real Estate on the Up. Hello, everybody. This is Kyle Madorin again, and we are back on Real Estate on the Up. Today, we are joined by guest Ricardo Passos of Century 21, and he's been an agent here in the Orlando area, specializing in the Dr. Phillips and Windermere area, and he has a lot of great information to share with us today about his experience in the business and also some of the things that he focuses on in order to achieve success. And also, we're going to talk about some of these recent changes because there's a lot happening this week. This is the week everything sort of went into effect with the NAR settlement and NAR, the local MLS, the things that are changing for us in terms of our technology. So we're going to chat about that a little bit today as well. To get things rolling, let's bring him on. Here he is, Ricardo Passos, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. My name is Ricardo Passos. I'm originally from Brazil, and I'm here to share any information, whatever you guys want to talk about today.
All right, very good. So let's get rolling. Obviously, this has been a journey for you, starting off in Brazil, coming to the United States. So when you first arrived here, did you get into real estate right away, or did that kind of come as part of your journey here, sort of your path after you arrived in the country?
No, that was after I started here in the country. My father was a realtor in Brazil. So I have that background. My story is my family. Always involved in this business since I was a kid. So my father was a realtor in Brazil, and I moved to the United States when I was 22, 23. When I I went to Louisiana first. My aunt was a real estate also. That's funny. She was a realtor there, and I was looking to do another graduation here, learn English, improve my English that I was learning in Brazil. And I was looking for something also, not just to study, but something that I can work for and then pay for my study and stuff like that. After a couple months, I decided to move to Florida because Louisiana didn't show me a bunch of opportunities. And then I moved to Florida. As soon as I moved to Florida, I found some opportunities in the construction business. And then I was looking for a way to open my own business and get a visa that I could stay, right, and open my business. So I talked to a lawyer that he had a Brazilian, also, a Brazilian helper over there, and then they helped me to get my visa to stay here with my construction business. And then real estate came after a few years later.
Great to have that background, though. I'm sure that's a big help to you, knowing the construction world and then getting into residential real estate. I'm sure that was a very easy transition for you.
Yes, it helped me a lot. And then, but having this background about my father that was a realtor before, my aunt was a realtor, they kind of pushed me into, after a few years in the construction, they pushed me into like, why don't you do real estate? I have people from Brazil. My father used to say to me, I have people from Brazil that want to invest there. Why don't you get your real estate license? My aunt here is, I can help you here, I can help you there. Yeah, get your license. And then I ended up getting in 2008. My father was trying to convince me to do it. But it took me a little while. Then when it was 2014, it was a few years later, and I got my real estate license, and then I finally started working with real estate. But it was kind of incentive from my father and my aunt. And
it's nice to have that background, that family pushing you into it to give you a helping hand. Yeah, it's nice to fall back on that. And for me, I have a son too, and I feel like, man, if he could just get into real estate someday, he's absorbed so much just listening to me. I think he'll have a big advantage if he wants to get into it someday.
Yes, yes.
Nice to have that.
To get the dates correctly, I guess it was 2014. 2014 when I got my real estate license. 2014, that's right. because I'm doing like I'm real estate in about
So
10
10
years.
years, 10 years
10
is,
years.
is quite
Yeah,
some time. And have you been in
that's
the Orlando area that whole time?
so no. Then I stayed a couple months in Louisiana. When I moved to Florida, I moved to Pompano Beach and Deerfield Beach area. And then in 2005, I moved to Orlando.
Okay.
And that's where I got my license. It was in Orlando, Florida. And that's where my area is, Windermere, Orlando. And now I'm living in Ocoee, which is North Orlando, which is those are my area
Very
that I'm.
good. So when you have obviously been in the business for a decade now, so when you look at your path in real estate, have you felt like the industry has had significant changes that have affected the way you do business over the last 10 years?
Yes, definitely. I felt a lot of changes. It's changed. We heard about those 2008 thing going on. When I got my license was 2014, but a lot of changes, especially because I had a lot of clients that was from Brazil. Because initially, when my father was sending me a lot of investors, and that time, in 2014, the economy in Brazil was totally different, was much, much better. So a lot of people had money to invest here. So I was on this kind of niche, basically helping people from Brazil to invest here.
Was that the bulk of your business was kind of international then,
In the
international clients?
beginning, yes, that was how to start it. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was those investors from Brazil. But then with time, of course, working with 1021 Coyote, they help us a lot. And then I start getting clients here, of course, and I end up getting to the regular market here, the local buyers and sellers. And then a lot, of course, I know so many people here being here for so long, and then I end up getting a lot of clients from my sphere, right?
Sure.
So yeah, but basically the beginning was those investors from that time, 2014, 15. And then economy changes there, economy changed here, and always a change, but nothing was compared to 2008.
Yeah.
Every time is different. And today we have a different problem again, or a different
Right.
solution,
Yeah.
right?
Speaking of economic changes, we're seeing some shifts in the marketplace currently. So,
Yes,
in terms of what you've seen now over the last 12 months, because we are in a vastly different market today than we were during COVID a few years ago, what
yes.
are the biggest challenges that you're seeing right now for buyers who you're working with looking to purchase currently?
Yeah, definitely buyers are seeing this huge price that houses went up a lot since the pandemic. Pandemic has made the house market go up a lot. And right now the interest rate went up. So those two pieces of the market that it makes the buyer to be more cautious and say, I'm gonna wait, of course. And but the reality is on the real estate market, as everybody in the business knows, you shouldn't wait, right? We shouldn't wait. Well, those that were waiting in 2020, 2022, even up to 2022, we just been seeing the market going up again, and it's still going up since that boom in 2020, and even the interest rate going up. We can wait for the interest rate to go down to refinance later. So we shouldn't never wait. But I mean, that's what I believe, right?
Sometimes
Because
it's challenging to convince people that it's still a good time to move forward, even though rates are high, homes are expensive, there might be
yes,
less inventory than they'd like to see, that sort of thing. So
exactly.
when people say, Ricardo, I think I'm just going to wait right now. I just don't think this is a good time to buy. How do you coach them through that thought process of wanting to wait, feeling like the market's not good for them at the moment? What do you tell them in order to make them understand of the opportunity that you were just saying that it is still a good opportunity today?
Yes, every case, every situation, I believe is different, but it's still everybody has. I deliver the same actually advice basically. Even being the situation being different, the advice should be. It's always the result should be like, yes, you should buy now. But depending on the situation, because I have people that was renting in 2020. I have a friend of mine say, look, he was renting, and I say, look, the house is going up. Maybe you could either Actually, no. Actually, he had a townhome. He was living in the townhome. He bought a townhome, but his interest rate was high. And I said, look, maybe you should either rent your property and sell later because the house is going up, right? Or you should refinance. Try to refinance since you have this property for a few years already. So you should call your bank and refinance. But I never told him to really sell at the moment because owning the real estate it's always an asset that you're gonna be able to make money later, or you can save on your interest later, on your payments later if you refinance later. But then instead of keeping the property and trying to refinance or renting the property, he ended up selling the property because he saw that went up a little, and then he saw there's opportunity as to make his money, his equity back and make that money and sit down on his money and then buy it later. And I'm in a better situation. Maybe he said, oh, maybe I'm gonna rent for 1 year, and then after 1 year, I'm gonna get this money and then I'm gonna buy something that I want. So those kind of thoughts took them 12, but then he ended up selling the property, renting for 1 year, and then after 1 year, he decided to buy. Boom, what happened?
Prices went up.
He couldn't afford the product that he wanted anymore.
Yep.
The money was not enough. He couldn't afford whatever he wanted at that time. And he ended up paying more, and the interest rate went up, and then he was unable to save on interest rate and get a better interest rate. And it was already high at that time, but he had the property, so he had a opportunity to, after 1 year, to lower the interest rate. No, he sold the property. He rented, spent the money on renting, and then ended up buying for more and getting a higher interest rate. So it's a situation that in that moment, if he was listening to me to keep the property, refinance, when he bought the property, he should have been getting a huge equity, maybe splitting, getting the equity, buy a second property now.
Yeah.
It's so it depends on the situation. Each person has a different situation, but at the end of the day, even if you're a first-time home buyer, buy it. A couple of years later, you can refinance if the rate goes down.
Definitely.
You can get your equity and do something else.
I think that the old adage in real estate is, when is the best time to buy? 10 years ago. When is the second best time to buy? Today. Like that's because that's
exactly.
And I think that holds true. The market, if you look back historically, the market always accelerates. It always comes back. No matter what dips we might have, even relative crashes like what we saw in 2007, 2008, the market always comes back. And even if you lose some of the equity, if something like that happens, you can still rent it. You can hold on to it and get your equity back over time. So it's almost never a losing proposition. And it's one of those things that I think when people are renting, sometimes it's tough to convince them of, or for them to get their mind around, is when you own real estate, it's something tangible. It's something that it's always going to be worth something. You know, it's a great way, like a forced savings account, to keep putting money in, and it's going to grow over time.
Exactly. But people are afraid to start. People are afraid to. The first buyers, they're afraid to start. They're afraid that right now is not the right moment. Right. And as we said, unfortunately, the moment is always 10 years late, 10 years ago or now, because later you can change it. We can get this asset, and you can manage in a way that you can find a way to get your money back, or you don't even lose your money. There's a way to manage, to rent or something that you can get equity, lower your interest rate. Is something that you can do to manage where you're not gonna lose your money and you can do something about it.
Right. You mentioned first-time home buyers, and there are more of those coming into the marketplace than ever before. So when you have someone who's a first-time home buyer, what advice do you have for them for how to prepare to purchase? Let's say they come to you and they say, Ricardo, I want to buy a house, but I think I want to buy maybe in a year. I just don't have money saved yet, and I'm not quite ready. What are some things that you tell them to do to get ready to purchase?
First of all, look for any help that the government can give for the down payments, right? We heard that some programs are coming back, that you can get some very low down payment. So first of all, try to get educated on that, how to get help from the government for the first time home buyers. Now, that's a great way to start, because then you're not going to be worried about how much you're going to give in down payment for the first house. Now, Second advice is, of course, depending on your numbers, depending on your situation, financial situation, but always, even if you have to start smaller than what you were thinking, but get something. Try to get into the market and try to be a homeowner instead of a renter, because the rent you're not doing, and this money is not, you're not building up equity with this money, right? So having something, I always advise to have something, even if it's gonna be not at the perfect location, not at the perfect size that you want, but start with something. Later, you can always use that asset to do something, to make your next step. Let's put it this way. If you buy a 1 bedroom today, later on you can use that equity, that asset, to transform into 2 bedrooms. And after you use these 2 bedrooms to make into a 3 bedrooms, and you get to your goal sooner than waiting for you to get your 3 bedrooms in the first shot. If you try to get your first bedroom, 3 bedrooms in the first shot, and it's gonna be harder than if you start smaller, use that asset, use the equity, use the tools that you have, but you have the asset to do something, to do your next step, and grow slowly, but at least you're gonna have much more chances, opportunities to get there where you want, instead of buying something big at once.
I think that's good advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, flipping the coin, looking at selling, we're in an interesting market right now because it was a strong seller's market during COVID. I mean, you could list a house and get multiple offers on it almost that first day. Things have changed a bit for sellers. So when you work with sellers, how are you explaining some of the changes in the market and what they need to do to have a good strategy in order to get offers and get exposure?
For the sellers right now, the situation is, the good thing is the interest rate is lowering a little bit. So what we explain to them is that it is a good opportunity, because with lower interest rate going down slowly, but it is going down a little. And we have to be in the market to see, because the more buyers are gonna have more opportunity, more money to put down. So we're gonna have more buyers in the market right now. And the good strategy is to give a good price, put in a fair price in the market, and not too high, because not lower, but as fair as you can put a price in the market, more offers you're gonna end up seeing in your house. Having more offers in your house, you're gonna be able to negotiate much more prices. And so right now, we're seeing the interest rate going down. It's a good thing to be in the market, see how the market reacts, and for sure, don't exaggerate in your price, be fair in your price, and you're gonna have way more offers, and we're gonna have more power to negotiate, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's a common trend that I'm hearing from almost everybody is stretching too far with asking prices right now is very dangerous.
Yes.
Because of what we're seeing. You really have to be strategic and educated with where that price will be that will attract buyers to actually come see it, make offers, and it won't just sit on the market and languish, because we're beginning to see, I think the average time on market right now is up to about 55 days. We're seeing over 4 months of inventory now across the greater Orlando area. So things are changing. It's becoming a little more challenging to sell, and you have to be more purposeful and take the advice of great agents and the things that they tell you to do. I think that's very important.
Because a lot of sellers want to put the price as high as they can, and then they think that they're gonna sell for that price. But putting a house in the market is not exactly the price that you're gonna put in the market, is not exactly the price that you're gonna sell your house. So I always advise them, you don't wanna exaggerate on the price. You always wanna be fair, because then people is going to look to that price as a good price, and more offers going to come. That's why it's really hard to explain to sellers, oh, my house is worth $600,000. Well, but I see here that 550 will be a fair price. More people are going to jump to your house, and then we're going to be able to negotiate. And having more offers, it might push us to the 600 in the end. But it's always good to start a little lower than what they really want normally in the market.
So looking at the marketplace where you focus in Dr. Phillips, Windermere, Ocoee, obviously buyers relocate from all around the world to come to Florida, especially from different places in the United States. So when someone's looking at the Orlando area, what can you tell them about those places and why that would be a great place for them to live? What do you love about that part of Orlando?
Well, I like the north part of Orlando. Everything's growing here in Orlando, right? We have the new parks in South Orlando, let's say, but the surrounding area, the Orlando, is growing a lot, and they are becoming really good cities to live on. And it's like Ocoee right now is very north of Orlando. It's a really nice city that it became small about 4 years ago. It wasn't that small, that big of a city, but the project of the city, they investing so much money here, and the government also the roads around Ocoee. So right now Ocoee still has a good price. They're building so many new houses, and they're building so many commercial things here. Right now I have two 7-Elevens being ready in a couple weeks. They are opening soon. Two 7-Elevens here on the corner, 429, which is a main street here by Ocoee, being expanded with 4 lanes on each side. So everything in Ocoee here is great markets, supermarkets coming here, shoppings, great restaurants are moving to Ocoee. So Ocoee is expanding a lot. The city of Ocoee is investing also in the downtown. So, and we are in a great location because we are really close to Winter Garden, especially downtown Winter Garden, which is really nice area.
Very popular, yeah.
Really close to Windermere, really close to Apopka, which is a really nice place to have a state home. So the access here, we near Turnpike, we're near 429, we are a straight shot to I-4, Colonial. So everything's, so we are close to every state, every road that take us to anywhere in South Orlando, and even north, if you want to go to north and like northeast, like at the beaches, like New Smyrna, Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach. It's much easier now because of all those roads that they building here close to Ocoee. So Ocoee is a really nice city that's gonna expand a lot still, and the prices are still way lower than Orlando, Windermere, and Winter Garden.
Yeah,
and
some good opportunity there. Yeah, good opportunity for value. Yeah, excellent. Well, very good. Ricardo, if people want to pick your brain a little bit, they've got some more questions for you about the market, whether they're buying or selling, or agents who are newer in the business, especially those who might be interested in exploring the international marketplace. What's a way that people could get in touch with you? What's the best way for them to reach out?
Well, they can reach out to me at my Instagram at Ricardo Passos PA. All right. Instagram, my phone number, 407-431-1591. My email, ricardo.passos@gmail.com. My website is a great place for you to look into houses, which is connected to MLS. So you're going to see real-time properties over there that is in the market, sold, pending, so there's many ways that you can reach out to me. If you have any questions, you can text me. I have WhatsApp on my number. If you're an international buyer, you can always reach me on WhatsApp. So anyway, there's no excuses not to reach out to me.
Lots of different ways. That's good. That's great.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. Ricardo, I really appreciate your time and joining us today and your expertise. I hope everybody learned a little something more about the local market today. And I really appreciate everyone's time with us as well. So take care, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
As we conclude another eye-opening episode of Real Estate on the Up, I want to express my appreciation for joining us. Thank you for being a valuable part of the Real Estate on the Up community. Your time and engagement mean the world, so make sure you subscribe and leave a review. Your real estate goals are my priority, and my team and I are here to provide the personalized attention and service that have earned us high recognition. If you have questions, need guidance, or are ready to make a move, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm just a message away. I'm Kyle Madorin, one of Rate My Agent's top 100 in the United States, signing off. Until next time, take care and make those real estate dreams a reality.